Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Friday night's TSRC GTE Masters from Fuji Speedway. We have got a 40-minute straight-up race for you here this evening as well. And just to top it off, after the first round where people managed to get through, I believe it was no stop on safety cars, we have lowered the fuel to make sure they stop. It should last about 26 minutes, but we will find out and see how they get on. But we're going to go into 10-minute qualifying, then we'll do the 40-minute race, and then that's it. We'll have a chat with some of the drivers after. Let's bring you up the championship standings as they are at the moment. In the arms, Francesco Cardulo leading away on 50 points with Clive Bourne in second, Stefan Mellis in third, then Matt Smith and Gareth Ronda, Giovanni Cesaria, Valero Tedeschi, Mario Gabbiadi, Johnny Wu, Nick Russell, Fabian Falke, Tom Martin, Dan Roberts and Wayne McNichol round out the AMs. In the Pro-Ams, it is Liam Giles leading the way on 51 points here, with Paul Weller in second place. Not quite sure what's going on with the numbers on the left. Thomas Garner in third, then Mav Gardner and Patrick Faulkner, William Chandler, Paul Smith and Thomas Roundtree, Bart Raven, Matty Acton round out the top 10 as we're going to swap over sessions. There we go. Then we've got Nick Clemens, Bobby Moss, Stephen Hutter and Bert Gildenhaas round out the bottom of that one. In the pros, it is Tom Davidson leading away with Jack Southfield in second. Then you've got Richard Simnor in third and Gergely Consabo in fourth. And Jamie Nuttall rounds out the top five. Marius Hibner in sixth. Francesco Petterlin, Hayden Miller, Andrew Pike, Matteo Ubertali, Lucas Sawyer, Luciano Vitvot, Kieran Sharp and Gwillem Hamling round out the top 14 in behind that one. I'm James Parfitt, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Tom Kent. I am very interested, Dave Barnes, if Matty Acton drives as good as his barber cuts his hair, we're in for a treat. Please link me in what you're talking about there, because I've gone for a GTE chat and I can't find anything involving Matty Acton's hair. So please link me in anything that I should know about, because I find that very much amusing. But here we are at Fuji this evening, and the man's going to tell us a little bit about the racetrack, Mr. Tom Cairns. Tom, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you, James. Hello to everyone that's tuned in, gearing up for some brilliant GTE Masters action within the TSRC. So, Fuji Speedway, situated around about 39 kilometers away from Mount Fuji. Yes, you've heard that right. Yeah. So, in terms of this racetrack, well, it's hosted 4 World Championship Formula One events, 2 in the 70s and 2 in the noughties. Lewis Hamilton had that famous wet weather drive in 2007 in his rookie season. People thought, when he won the race, that he had one hand on the trophy. Well, by the end of it, he had no hands on the trophy. That went to Kimi Raikkonen. And the most recent race was Fernando Alonso, who took advantage of the misfortunes of the front runners of Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen, Felipe Massa and all that, to come out on top in the Renault ahead of Rob Kubica. And Kimi Raikkonen was also on the podium that day. But it is an interesting racetrack. Formula One's not been back to this racetrack since, but it has put on some good racing over the years in the likes of Super Formula, Super GT, and all the other championships. And I do like this racetrack personally. What do you think?
I like the racetrack. I think it's very, very interesting indeed. That long straightaway gives us an opportunity. My only fear is the way the nature of the layout, coming from Coca-Cola through 100R, down through 300R as well. You're limited to a degree on where you're going to be able to overtake, because 3 to 6 is impossible, because it's a long swooping right-hander, right? It's very rare that people are going to try and get through there. You might get a run from 7 down to 10, which brings us down to the Yankee chicane that Tom Davidson has just gone through there as well. We might get some overtakes there. The way the nature of the corner, it's quite long sweeping. It's not tight sweeping like 100R is. Other than that, through the final sector, it's going to be very, very difficult. Now, I've driven this circuit in a Mercedes GT3, and it is very, very tough to try and overtake towards the end of the lap. Now, if you can, great. If you can't, well, you're going to have to sit back and wait, unfortunately, from that run out of turn 16 right the way down to turn 1. I'm just worried we're a little bit limited on overtaking spots here. I know they put the chicane in at turn 10 and 11 to try and infuse that situation, but I am a little bit worried that it could be very liney apart from this front stretch.
We'll see soon enough. There's also the pit strategy side of things, which they all have to make a mandatory stop during the course of 40 minutes of the race. It's just the one race that we've got tonight, unlike last week. By the way, I'm looking forward to the action.
Absolutely. You're on there in YouTube chat. Let's go. I've got my snacks and I'm ready for the carnage. Are you on? You're taking on board. Grab your drinks, get your popcorn. Because I think this is going to be one where we are going to need it. Now, the interesting thing as well, some of the things we found out in the green room talking to Kieran, Fords are very strong, very, very strong on the top end. They can outrun a lot of people with the BMW, maybe the Corvette. Porsche, Ferrari, strong in the middle section and towards the end of the lap. So there's a little bit of trade-off between the Corvette, the BMW and the GTE for the pace to go for the Porsche and the Ferrari, the fact that they're more sturdy on the racetrack. That's going to be an interesting one for us, Tom. At the moment, though, it's Corvettes, BMWs all dominating the top 7.
Well, that underlines the performance they've got on this racetrack as well. The Corvettes, the BMWs, we've got the Ford as well, which Kieran Sharp is in. He's one to look out for this evening. He certainly knows this circuit from the back of his own hand from his previous experience. But I'm very impressed with how Tom Davison has been getting on, as he is top of the standings in the pros. And he hopes to continue that form here in Mount Fuji. We've been to Nürburgring, we've been to Indy, tonight is Fuji, and we've got the likes of Hockenheim, Bar, Watkins Glen to round off the season as well.
Yeah, got some great racetracks coming up. Of course, I weren't here for Indy, and unfortunately I'm going to miss Hockenheim in the sprint feature, so we'll see how that pans out on that one. But I think this is going to be very, very interesting in the way that this develops. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys get on and whether or not they're going to be able to determine this situation. I think it's going to be something that we've got to look out for coming into the final 5 minutes of qualifying here as well. Well, the final 4 minutes, Tom Davison leading the way at this moment in time. Is there anybody that's really making any form of improvements currently? And to see who is going to be able to move up. Giovanni Cesaria maybe might be on a little bit of a run here. Marius Hippner in second place in the pros. He's looking at moving forward. Liam Giles in the pro-ams. Kieran Sharp in the pros as well. Hippner will be the first one over the line as he comes through turns number 16, the looping right-hander. Again, with a different line. There is 2 lines around that corner. You can take it wide and run it in and try and diamond it off, or you can take it tight against the apex. What's Himmler going to do? He's going to go over the line here. He's got that purple in that middle section, dives in pit lane. What about Kieran Sharp? Is he going to move up any more from his 4th place here? 2 greens to the yellow. Is it going to be an improvement? He jumps up 1 as everybody shuffles forward and goes into 4th on that one. Daniel Roberts currently down in 18th. 3rd in class in the AMS. Johnny Wu leading that one in there with Dan Roberts. Goes 2nd in class. Mario Gabbiati goes down to 3rd. Down Nick Russell is another one coming over the line. Fast times here, Tom. But I think it's going to be waiting, isn't it, to see how people get on through that last sort of couple of minutes here.
Yeah, well, the track is picking up, more and more robberies laid down. So by theory, there should be more lap times being posted, but they are burning through their tyres rather quickly when they are doing some mileage of this course. We've got Giovanni Cesara, who's in 22nd place. He's one of those in the AMS going, looking to get higher up. He's at the moment 6th out of all the AMS, so he's aiming to improve on his current effort. He should be going over the line very shortly. He doesn't actually improve his lap time, so Cesara stays where he is. We're looking at the driver who's sitting in 24th. This is Russell, who in the 53 is coming round the Dunlop chicane. Don't know whether he's actually on an improvement through this particular part of the course. We'll find out in a moment. But Nick Russell is heading through. I've not seen any greens in the sectors which he's posting there, so my assumption is that it's not going to improve this time around.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, unfortunately, for Nick Russell, there might be any improvements. Bobby Moss is on a couple of fast runners. He's coming through the final corner on the 2 greens on the board here in this Pro-Ams, led by Weller at the moment, Mr. Paul Weller, and I don't mean the singer. Okay, just clarifying that for Paul. I don't mean the singer. Bobby Moss, 27th. Where does he go? 15th. Great job from him. jumps up the board here as well. So Bobby Moss making his way forward at the moment, sitting in 5th. Oh, all right, Bobby, just as I pick you up, you go and do that. Jamie Nuttall comes over the line. Any more improvements on the top 5s of each class? Nope. I think that is going to be it. Nuttall, nope. Nobody else left out on the racetrack. Looks like Tom Davidson's grabbed the pole.
Yeah, well, at least we've got a bit of a podcast going on for the next few minutes before this race gets underway. But very good lap from Tom Davidson to get the lap time he wanted to put it on pole by 0.02 of a second over the 94 of Hibner, Marius Hibner for the Vulcan Fasteners Glass Tech Racing Team. And it's Guilherme Hamling in 3rd place, had a Kieran Sharp in 4th and Jamie Knuckles 5th. So we've got the usual suspects up there in 1st, 4th and 5th. Hibner and Hamling are kind of expected as well. So we should be in for some good racing involving those. The fastest of all the Pro-Ams is Liam Giles, and the fastest of the AMs is Johnny Woo in P11 overall.
Yeah, definitely are. We'll wait for the grid to pop up. We're going to have another minute or so here before that actually happens. I'm still trying to find out from Mr. Barnes what you mean about his haircut. So let me know on that one. That would be, I'll be very interested to see what that is about. I have seen some photos of mullets, but I don't think that's related to Matty. But you never know. We'll see. Yeah, as well. Right, grid's coming up now. Tom Davidson will lead the way. Marius Hibner in 2nd. Guilherme Hamling 3rd. Then Kieran Sharp in 4th. Jamie Nuttall 5th. And Liam Giles in 6th. Gergely Consabo in 7th. And Jack Southfield 8th. Hayden Miller in 9th. And Paul Weller leading the way in the Pro-Ams. Johnny Woo leading the way in the AMs with William Chandler in behind that one. Then we've got Thomas Roundtree, Andrew Pike, Bobby Moss, Mario Gabbiadi, Matty Acton, all in there as well. Dan Roberts in 18th. Then you've got Bart Raven and Wayne Nicol, Matt Smith, Paul Smith alongside each other, Giovanni Cesara and Stefan Huda in 24th. Rounded out behind that, Nick Russell, Stefan Mellis, Valero Tedeschi, Mav Gardner and Clive Bourne further back. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and people of all ages, if you have not got your popcorn, go and get it now. Get your drinks. We are on that half pace lap, basically coming into turn number 10. They're kicking him right in here, Tom. They're sticking a pace lap right in front of a chicane.
Yes, so they'll be going around that chicane in a moment in rows of 2 before they all come around to the pit straight to begin this 40-minute race. I'm looking to work out how many laps we're going to get as the lights are coming on to begin this pace lap. So we've got a bit of time before the race does properly begin with the rolling start. But I think it's going to be something like, working out my maths, it's going to be something like 24 laps at most, I think, James.
Give or take, I would have thought, being in and around that area. They're all trying to siphon through the chicane. They all go single file and then double coming out. But they got some tall corners here, so it should be an interesting one. I really do want to see how this Ford gets on. I own the Corvette GTE, but I do regret not buying the Ford, because I think it would have been absolutely an amazing car to drive. So I might have to go back and just embellish myself and buy a car that I probably won't end up driving, to be completely honest. I probably own about 60 straight away. Right, the question will be, are we going to keep them backed up? Are we going to go green before we've even gone anywhere? Pace car's going to peel in this very tricky pit lane entrance. We haven't really left a lot of room, ladies and gentlemen, so hold on here, because this could be an interesting one from Tom Davidson's point of view. Just waiting for the pace car to go in. It's still out on the racetrack. Pit lane does go into the right. It's going to do a very dodgy turn. There you go, jumps the white line. It's a pit lane penalty for the pace car. On we go now. He's going to hold them all the way down to the line, I think. Is everybody playing ball? They are at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he's keeping them for that very long run down here. He's trying to minimize that turn 1 overspeed. Lights are on. We are green. Everybody's scattered straight away on the back. 3 wide at some points, 4 wide nearly as well. Nearly 5 wide across the track here, going into turn 1. Kieran Sharp straight down the outside, Hibner on the inside. Tom Davidson's got through. There's been incidents at the back with Paul Weller. There's incidents further at the back as well. There's more than one person involved in that one. But at the moment, Marius Hibner takes the lead of the race, coming into the right-hander, sorry, of 100R, all the way through turn 4 and 5. He's got that inside line. He should be set up for turn number 6, but it's going to be what that Tom Davidson's going to do in the Corvette on the outside. He can't quite make it through. He needs to come over and cover Davidson off. Hibner has come over and covered him off. Tom, 3-4, nearly 5 wide at some points going down into turn 1 on the opening lap was never going to work, and we've seen that with some people have dramas.
Yes, and Hibner and Davidson side by side all the way through that first lap before Hibner got moved on into the left-hander before the sweeping area of 300R before Dunlop. So Hibner taking the advantage at this early stage ahead of Davidson and Sharp, who's another one of those who's made up a position ahead of Hamlin. Knuckle, I believe, has lost a position to Jack Southfield, who's made up 3 positions from his starting place. So he's done a terrific job. Bart Raven up 6 spots from where he has started. Likewise for Giovanni Cesera, who's in 17th. And Nick Russell is up to 19th position momentarily. He's fighting out with Stefan Peter for position, bearing in mind both of which are in different classes to each other.
Yeah, you can see William Chandler losing out there. We'll show you what happened to him once I get this first run out the way of the first lap. Hibner goes to the inside. He's trying to defend. He wants to send Tom Davidson long and wide through the outside. Hibner's going to send it in. Davidson knows he's going to come after him. Turn 1 they go. Corvette on the right, BMW on the left, tracked by a Ford of Kieran Sharp as these guys going to try and make it through, coming down into the left-hander. Through they go. Davidson goes through this time. Who's going to come back at him? It's him. They're going to get the run through 100R into the hairpin. No. But I can tell you what, Quillam Hamlin is having to go all over the back end of Kieran Sharp at the moment. He's trying to close the door. Sharp goes on the defense in that Ford GTE. We've got Porsches tucked in the Southfield. Then we've got more Corvettes and Nuttall and Miller and Ford and Sabo, BMW, the next Porsche or any other manufacturer apart from Corvette, BMW and Ford. He's Johnny Woo in the Ferrari. He's leading the AMs at the moment. But, as I said, as promised, this is what went on at the beginning. You're all going to find out. It's going to go a little bit chaotic here. And he's looking at Paul Weller in the middle. There's a big old checkup. Everybody checks up. There goes one. Gets Chandler on the exit there. That's what's spun him. And unfortunately for Paul Weller, it's just a little bit of a checkup, Tom. And he just kind of over-braked himself going into the corner.
Yeah, that's left him with so much work to do at this stage. And Davidson finding himself back into the lead into turn 1 at the beginning of the second lap. And he's doing his best to break the toe as it's so effective down the straight very clearly. And he's got... Will he be able to defend the line into turn number 1? You've seen Consabo having his own trouble further back. Don't know what's going on with him. But a new fast up of the race from Tom Davidson. The end of lap 2. Will he be able to keep hold of the lead all the way until the checkered flag? There are the pit stops to factor in as well, James.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be coming within about 26 minutes of fuel here. As these guys, it looks like Pike's had a little bit of a problem, unfortunately, for Pikey at the moment. He's going to have to try and sit in and see if he can recover. On board with him now through 100R. We're only 4 minutes in and this has been a frantic beginning. 1:37.99 lap time. Left-hander into the hairpin. Hibner got a little bit of a slap on there as well. Little correction of the steering wheel. Now going after Davidson through this long looping right-hander of 300R. All the way down into Dunlop, which is going to almost kick back on themselves with this chicane at the end. Through the right-hander they go. Then, Hibner got to slide on again. That's 2 mistakes in 2 corners, and he's been punished with Kieran Sharp going through.
Yeah, a bad mistake there from Hibner, and that's allowing also Hamlin alongside there. So having to fight it out with him. And watch out for Jack Southfield on the inside of Hamlin into the left-hander before the last corner. That's nets that they're just going through, and there is the right-hander Panasonic, which they're exiting now. So Southfield is someone on a charge, closing in on Hibner, who very nearly lost 3rd position to the Brit. But Kieran Sharp slowly making his way through the field and getting onto the rear of race leader Tom Davidson.
Yeah, topping north of 250 kilometres an hour, plus a little bit more, 260 maybe. Southfield's pulled out of the draft. He goes on. Wow, that was a long old lift. Oh, Hibner's gone round. Marius Hibner did go round. We did say that he's been struggling He had 2 corners where he had a massive slap. You can see they're 3 wide in the background almost. And Gurgly Consabo, Giovanni Cesara has also had a crash. I'm hoping this has got nothing to do with a rejoin here. Please don't. No. Oh no, they've just had a big old moment together. And that was Consabo in the Ford, and Cesaria in the Corvette. And unfortunately they've come together as well. Front 3 start, or front 2 breaking away at the moment here. But are we going to get this knock-on effect, Tom? Where basically the guy at the leader of the pack is Southfield, leaves Nuttall and Miller to fight, and then he escapes. And then the next one does the same thing, goes and escapes away. It can be a very big knock-on effect.
I can imagine so. But Davison just needs to make sure he can get out of that territory where he's giving Kieran Sharp the toe. Pick straight, I'll go to you on that one, because it sounds like we've almost had a little bit of a moment from someone.
Yeah, Southfield there as well, got a little bit bouncy on the curve. Almost had that issue, didn't quite make it through. Now got Nuttall tucked in behind him in that Corvette. I think this is going to be Nuttall's opportunity to make this move down into turn 1 if he can here. Can Jamie Nuttall get the run? Southfield's not giving up that inside line. There's a pit wall coming up. Be careful. There you go. Nuttall now pulls out. Through we go, right in that Corvette. Jamie Nuttall on the right-hand side. Southfield on the left. It's a Porsche versus Corvette here. It looks like we know the Corvette has got some gruff on it. Can it go through on that run? It can't, Tom. Southfield manages to hold on.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Southfield was able to get back on the inside, actually, because it looked like a done deal for Jamie Nuttall. But no, Southfield had the inside line for turn 1 and was able to rebound from what looked like it was a Sundog overtake from Nuttall. So Southfield stays in 3rd place ahead of his British rival. And behind those two is the driver in 5th place overall. That's Hayden Miller. It's Liam Giles and Thomas Roundtree, the 2 leaders of the Pro-Am class, fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah, they are at the moment. There's been something happened with Mellis, but I'm a little bit afraid that Mellis and Nicol have had some form of drama here going into this final section. Starfield almost lost that back end. It was a little bit managed to be held on to. Nuttall now closing him in through the right-hander of 13. Yeah, that right goes into the left of 14. All the way round again. More sort of loops. You have to wait for the power hit here as well. Now he's got to go in. Nuttall now sends it on the inside. Is he going to be able to hold this? That's the multi-line last corner. Nuttall now looks at getting a bit of a run out. Is there going to be some argy-bargy on the way down into 1? Where's Miller going to do? Where's Miller going to go? Well, he's gone and done it. He's gone and done it. We are 3 wide into turn number 1. Southfield on the left. Nuttall on the middle. Miller on the right. Is the 4th Giles going to do 4 wide? No. Thinks better of it. Nuttall's going to hold on. Miller's going to try and get a place here. Is he going to get 1? He has got 1. Southfield lost 2, but Nuttall manages to go in front. Hayden Miller getting, oh, did he get 1? No, he didn't get 1, because Southfield's come back at him again. And this is Nuttall's moment now to go and escape Tom here, because these 2 behind him are fighting.
Yeah, well, Miller couldn't cover the inside because Southfield, well, because he was too busy fighting it out with Nuttall to begin with, and he left the door open for Southfield to head back through. But I thought Liam Giles was going to get all 3 of them. I thought he should have gone for it, to be honest, in all honesty. But the thing is, he's in a different class to what these 3 are at, and Liam Giles is the lead Pro-Am driver in the pack right now. So it would have been a little bit too ambitious for him to go for it and compromise his race right there and then. But we are really loving the action here at Fuji, especially down over at turn 1. This is breathtaking stuff.
Yeah, side by side for Southfield and Giles. They've got Miller in there in the middle. He comes in now. He's trying to get in that Corvette. Now the BMW behind is going to have some gruff. You know, the Porsche, it seems to be a Porsche problem, the top end here. It doesn't matter if it's GT3. It doesn't seem to matter if it's GTE. The Porsche still doesn't seem to be able to keep up with some of the faster cars in front of him. Now here comes this pair. Is it going to be able to get the power? You can see the BMW behind. He's just eating. He's bump drafting him along. It's, oh, late move. Oh, dude, one. Southfield may goes to the right, then comes back on him, throws Miller off there. Now Giles comes back at him. That was a little bit of a 2 move there from Southfield, a little bit dodgy.
Yep. Well, It was a little bit sneaky there from Liam Giles, the way he pushed Miller along there. I thought Miller was maybe going to send one to the inside and do a little bit of a dive bomb on Jack Southfield. Jimmy Knuckle pulling further away from this battle here, and we'll see how he gets on in his chase with Kieran Sharp. But the gap between Davis and Sharp is still less than a couple of seconds with the, well, quarter of the race gone so far. We're not expecting pit stops for the next few laps.
Yeah, not yet. We've got about another 16 minutes before we start embarking on the pit lane cycle. Matty Acton in here with Bart Raven. They're continuing to scrap as well. Acton in that Porsche, Raven in that Ferrari. It's Matt Acton photography against the cracked racing Ferrari of Bart Raven here. Who's going to come out on top? You see the manufacturers on the left-hand side at the moment. There's the interval splits. You can see some Corvette, Ford, BMW top 8 at least, with a Porsche and a Ferrari in there. Very difficult here. We knew that there was a couple of more able manufacturers, should we say, than what's necessarily within this Porsche and the rest of this Ferrari.
Miller's going for it again on Southfield around the outside here, but it's the fact that he's not looking to go to the inside and he's given all the toe to Liam Giles, who's looking to the outside at last. He doesn't want to hang around for any longer, and so he's sending it around the outside. Miller comes back, but I think Giles will have the inside line for the left-hander of Coca-Cola, but he's tucked back in again, has Giles. I thought maybe we've gone for it.
Yeah, he's tucked back in. Giles now with the BMW, Corvette, Porsche in behind, and we've got Bart Raven, Mario Gabbiati in the Corvette is closing on to the Porsche. Matty Acton here, Bobby Moss and Gurgley Consabo, Paul Smith and William Charnlat, all doing it, battling at the same time, so they're continuing to fight it out here between these three. I do love that middle livery of Matty Acton. It's not Rexy, who's the other one? Roxy,
Can't remember.
Sure, it's Rexy or Roxy. I'm just having a myself here. It is a Roxy, but Roxy's more pink than red. So, yeah, it's part of the AO Racing, I believe it is. I think it is. In that one, on the liveries there. So fair play and a good job from him, but it is a little bit more pink. Matty, you can see the movement in front. Look at the four-strewn traffic jam that we had weaving its way down the line there. There they all are. Giles again pushing Miller along, getting him alongside that Porsche. Now he releases him. It's now down to Miller again. It does seem, oddly enough here, that the BMW and Liam Giles has got a lot more pace than Southfield and Miller in front of him. I'm not quite sure why he's not going for it, to be honest.
Well, it feels like there's more straight line speed in that BMW, of which Liam Giles is in, compared to the Corvette of Hayden Miller. But let's not forget that Hamling and Roundtree, who are the next two cars behind Giles, they are also in BMWs. They must have good straight line speed as much as Liam Giles has.
Yeah, I'm surprised Hayden Miller's not motored past Southfield. I'm surprised the Corvette struggled so much in that Porsche, to overtake the Porsche. Go Tom, channel your inner Fred Flintstone pedal power, says Shrew in YouTube chat there. Well, Tom's doing a great job attacking front by 1.6. Kieran, 3-second gap over Nuddle, who's got 3 seconds here with Southfield, who's got his own pack of cars. And Matty Acton's got another group. Gurgley Consabo's also got another group. Here's the class groupings at the moment. Tom Davidson leading the pros, Gabbiati leading the AMs, and Lee Giles leading the pro-AMs. So Giles here in that BMW leading the pro-AMs. He got that corner a little bit wrong, mind you, but the pace of that BMW, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes on, but it does also look like Southfield may have made a mistake. This is going to put Hayden Miller alongside him now. Two BMWs behind Gwilym Hamlin, Liam Giles and Roundtree. It's actually two side-by-side moments here, Tom, going down into turn one.
So field defending the line, you just see Miller, well, he had to duck out of it a little bit there. Now he's looking to make a switch back, but the issue is having that line into the left-hander of Coca-Cola is not the best line to take So we'll see if he can actually head to the outside, but I highly doubt the overtake's going to work here. Although Southfield's gone a little too deep into the left-hander, and that allows Miller the outside. But Miller's momentum's been knocked because the two actually made contact.
Yeah, but you can see the guys behind are just crawling all over him. This pack has now become a almost, what is it, 2, 4, 6 car nearly. 5 cars at the moment, sorry, with Gabbiati a little bit further back. But they've got to be dangerous. They've got to be careful because they're holding each other up by fighting. And that's the problem. The 4 of them are scrapping it out. Southfield's bumping them curbs in that Porsche and is managing to hold on to it, which I'm amazed that that's still able to be done from Southfield here. But we're going to find out whether or not Hayden Miller can do anything about him. And at the moment, we said the Corvette through sectors 1, maybe sector 2, the pace top, and the Porsche over the final sector here as well because of the handling, and that kind of seems to be the case.
This is going to be another take of Miller, attempting to get by Southfield, but he will watch those directly behind. The likes of Hamlin, the likes of Giles, the likes of Roundtree, all nose to tail as they come down the pit straight, heading to the outside once more. Southfield will defend his inside line again. Wheel to wheel they go. It feels like Southfield's going to have him again. We're seeing Liam Giles Liam Giles being overtaken by Hamlin, I think, whilst that was going on. And now it's the fact that Miller hasn't got the moved on Southfield once more.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried here now. That move did get done, and it was a run down into turn number 1. These guys finished this off. William Hamlin and got past Liam Giles. Giles leading the Pro-Am, of course, he's fighting Thomas Roundtree more than he is Gwilym Hamlin. Hamlin's not one to generally mess around here. He's more of a go-getter, should we say, rather than a sitting in behind like Giles kind of was. So I'm a little bit worried that why Miller and Southfield are fighting coming into the into the right hand of turn number 10 here. Through the chicane they go. Gwilym Hamlin is not going to hang around, dude. He's not going to want to sit back and think, okay, I'm going to sit here and wait, because it's just not Gwilym Hamlin's style.
Well, out of the next column they come once more, Southfield and Miller towards the hairpin. Now Miller just needs to take a wider line, which he is doing so, but that's opened the door for Hamlin to get through here, and that attempt to try and get some extra speed and traction out of the last turn, James, has cost Miller a position.
Yeah, but now watch Hamlin. He's not going to hang around here. You can see that Miller is doing what Giles did to him and just pushing him along here, bump drafting him down into Southfield. Now watch Hamlin. Hamlin's not going to hang around. This is the problem that these guys have behind. Why they were being patient. Hamlin just wants to get on with it. He doesn't want them to be patient. He wants them to get through. And at the moment, Southfield is being that cork in that bottle and that champagne cork that's just not willing to pop here. And it's got to be a come a time now where Hamlin's just going to say, no, I'm not doing this with you. I am faster than you. Let me go through, or I'm going to come and take it. And I think it could be a thing for Gwilym Hamlin that he will just take it.
What he needs to do is just bide his time. Here that Southfield makes a mistake. There's quite a gap between Southfield in 4th place and Knuckle in 3rd, because you remember Knuckle was in that fight, wasn't he, earlier? Now he's 6 seconds clear of this group.
Yeah, but that's exactly what we mean. It's exactly what I said. The leader is going to get away, leaves the guys behind to fight, then the next one will escape or try to escape while the other two are fighting. The problem is for Southfield is Miller, Giles, Roundtree are not really fighting. They're not really doing anything. It's been very follow my leader. They swapped was Hamlin over Giles, sorry, and that's been in the last 3 or 4, maybe even 5 laps. But that's the only thing that they've had to deal with. Now watch Gwilym Hamlin here. He knows that pace of the BMW, pace of the BMW. He wants to have a go at this Porsche. This straightaway is long. He's trying to get the inside. Southfield, you made one, son. Now what you're going to do is Hamlin there goes and kicks him, almost pins him against the line. He's going to try to cut back on him. Through he goes. Gwilym Hamlin's going to try and come back the other way. Southfield still managing to hold on again. this is the recurring thing, and Hamlin had the option to go around the outside, couldn't quite make it work. Southfield defending his absolute butt off, and driver of the day vote goes to Jack Southfield, says Dave Barnes.
Well, this is a remarkable battle we are seeing between these two, and Hamlin's still not able to find a way past Southfield on this occasion. Further down the order in the paddock, looking at the other classes, well, I've mentioned that Liam Giles is leading the Pro-Ams, and Mauro Gabbiati is leading the AMs ahead of Johnny Wu, who was fastest in the qualifying session earlier for that respective category. And we've seen more and more drivers come into the pits at this stage, so it won't be too long before we start seeing the leaders come in.
Yeah, it's basically the last person to pit is 18th place Valerio Tedeschi. Sorry, let me get that right. Matty Acton is the first person to pit down in 19th. He's the first of the pit stop runners. Tedeschi then is the first of the non-pit stop runners in 18th place. So everybody below 18th have pitted here. So we've got to keep an eye out and see how they get on and whether or not they're going to be able to, how long they're going to be able to take this for. But Southfield again on the defense, Hamlin alongside it. And again, going down into turn one. Again, he's held Southfield. He's pulled out again here as well. Through he goes on the outside line. Southfield, is he going to hold on? Is this going to be Hamlin's moment? Hamlin takes him side by side. They're too wide currently. It's Hamlin on the left. Southfield on the, well, in the Porsche now. I can't say on the left because they've just swapped. Hamlin has gone through. How long do you give it before Miller comes back up to Southfield? Well, we're not going to give it long because Southfield's going back at Hamlin. Can't make it through here. The Porsche is better over this sector, Tom. This is where Hamlin might have to defend.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to be wary of Miller and the other two cars behind. So it looks like that car of Hamlin in the BMW will be able to pull away here. And Southfield's gearbox full of... Well, Southfield's just gone back ahead of Hamlin for a moment, actually. I want to be attempting to get back. He did at Dunlop. Side by side they go between Southfield and Hamlin. Southfield isn't giving it up, but watch out for Hayden Miller. You can see a door there. The only problem is he's boxing behind the BMW and Hamlin spins.
Now, question. Was there contact?
No, not for me.
No, he's just a full pocket full of curb for Guillaume Hamlin. Full pocket of curb, got the power down, Tom, and around he went. You were right, no contact at all. Now it's Miller going back at him again. Do you know what? I just had a thought as to why Giles might not want to make this overtake. First things first, he might not have to speed to get away. Second thing though, Tom, he's also leading the Pro-Ams. So would he really want to jeopardise that to be going forward a position here as well?
If you just stay in the toe of the car ahead, then they'll at least drag him forward with it, because he knows on paper he's not as quick as Southfield. And so if you can just stay within touch, this is very much like a Formula E situation where if you allow the slipstream to drag you in that toe, that saves you having to use up energy within the battery. This is a similar situation where if you want to stay in touch with the leaders and pull away from the other Pro-Ams of which you're racing against, then being dragged along by a pro driver is the perfect perk to have.
No, I agree with you. I think you are right. I think from Giles' point of view, being able to use people there and make sure that he can stay in front of Roundtree. And to be fair, Roundtree doesn't look like he's gone and pushed too hard over Giles either. You haven't seen many defensive manoeuvres out of Giles. But Hayden Miller's got to learn from Guillaume Hamlin. He's got to get an overtake in Southfield at the moment. This is allowing the others to pull away from Southfield. Currently to the leader is over 14.2 seconds. Wow. With 24 minutes gone and only 16 minutes left on the clock. Pit stops are going to be within the next couple of minutes at least here for some of these guys. Southfield peels into the pits. Finally, they're able to get past it, Tom, but it certainly ain't the fact that they've had pace to get past it.
Yep, and now Miller's lost the luxury of getting that toe, as well as Giles. Although Giles is actually now behind Miller, isn't he? So, since that Southfield is in the pits, he could just use Miller as another weapon to get all the slipstream from him and pull away from all the other Pro-Am drivers.
Yeah, Well, that's what I would do. It's him and Roundtree at the front of the Pro-Ams. The next Pro-Am's not willing to William Chandler. And currently at the moment, Chandler behind Roundtree is 12 seconds, almost 13 to Giles. So why not? Why not use the guys in front? Don't rush in. We've got Mario Gabbiati leading the way in the AMs. He's on his way out of pit lane currently at the moment. There is Mario Gabbiati. He's leading the AMs. And we've got, as I said, Liam Giles leading the Pro-Ams and Tom Davidson leading the Pros by 2.2 seconds at the moment. So that gap to Kieran Sharp is extending bit by bit, very, very slowly. This is a back marker who should be technically, please, thank you. I'm proud of you for removing yourself from the equation. And that at the moment was Tedeschi, who is now in behind Roundtree, but Miller has got a fight on his hands. I think for Miller, this has to be the most important lap of his lifetime here. He doesn't want to be fighting in traffic, especially if this is his in-lap.
Yeah, well, they are about to head for the pit lane, all three of them. It's going to come down to a battle of the pit crews.
Stop, get it on the brakes, get that puff smoke. Wow, Miller took it about as close as you possibly can to go here. This is where this man is going to be the most important figure on the racetrack, because how many is he going to clear here? None of them are in the box yet. Miller's not even stopped yet. He is now on his box. He's got about another 4 or 5 seconds. You can almost hear Hayden Miller screaming at this here. He's on his way out. Hayden Miller is on his way out. Where is Jack Southfield? Keep an eye on the top part of your screen at the moment. There he is. Miller's got to go, but it is coming down to Southfield. Southfield's got back past Hayden Miller. He had to go. He had to nail it. And that final in-lap from Hayden Miller, not good enough, Tom. He didn't make the gap. If anything, he lost time to Southfield there.
No, but at least he can try and stay within the tow of Southfield, so the battle for fourth place is far from over. Davidson, Sharp and Nuttall all pitted on that same lap, as we see that's, I don't know who that is, they're just lapping there. Is that who I think it is?
Yeah, I think it's Cesario.
Cesario, yeah. It's going to come down to pure driver skill and speed. Who has got anything left? We shall find out sooner rather than later. We've around about 12 minutes to go, so I'd probably say with what we've got left, well, I'll say 12 minutes to go. We've got about 12 minutes to go. I'm working out the number of laps. I would say after lap 17, we've got 7 at most.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's going to be Deans who's going to close back on here. Bobby Master's got his own little fix of battles. Johnny Wu leading the AMs. He's got 2 cars in behind him. One is Mr. Andrew Pike in the other Porsche there for Johnny Wu in the Ferrari. Behind that is Manny Acton in that other Porsche. Then it's the BMW of Dan Roberts, his second place man, just coming from the top right corner of your AMs. But a great job from all of these guys further down. This is a bit of a queue here, to be honest with you. It starts off here at Bobby Moss, and it goes all the way down to Paul Weller in 20th place. Moss to Weller, currently about 8 cars, all in a line, very liney. I'm a little bit afraid to say, Tom, that what I predicted at the beginning of it being very liney might end up coming true.
We've got someone on the pits, I think that's Thomas Roundtree, who has been in the wall somewhere because he's well down from where we saw from him earlier, as he had an accident on circuit. We'll find out soon.
No.
Well, it looks like he was a lot further down compared to where we saw him earlier when he was fighting with Giles and all that.
Yeah, I do wonder whether or not he's got some form of pit lane penalty. Let's see. I'll be able to tell you, because if it's 40 seconds, he's had a penalty. 39, 40. Is he going to go? Nope, he's not going. Now he's going. That could have been some form of speeding penalty there, or some form of stop and go in the pit lane. I've got a funny feeling that was probably it, but he clearly didn't learn. You take off fuel, you take off tyres, you take off your windscreen peelers, and any other buttons that you do during your pit stop, your stop-go penalty goes down to about between 2 and 5 seconds. here as well. It's a little idiosyncrasy that iRacing have. Your window pullers, I can't think of the name what they're actually called, the window peeler man, who peels the window strips off, and your fuel and your tyres, you do end up going down to a stop and go to about 2 seconds. I'm a little bit concerned why this has happened to Kieran Sharp and why that gap has gone to 5 seconds and the gap behind is only 1.1. Oh, too fast, dude. Way too fast there, Tom.
Yep, carrying too much speed into the corner there. And as the tarmac declines, that's when you need to ease off the throttle slightly, because you don't want to turn in on a downhill gradient, because the balance of the car is gonna differentiate like one side compared to the other. Hence why you've got to adapt to how the car rotates through that corner before you can start doing whatever you want the car to do.
Paul Weller here.
Oh, someone's had enough. Yeah. Someone's in the wall.
Bobby Moss. Are we looking at a Porsche things? Wow. No, we're looking at a Porsche being bumped over a curb and a drain. Ow, bro. Man, that was mighty. He bumps it here. Bang, bang.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the spin. Woo. 1, 2, 3. Oh, gee. Let's hope he's not in VR there, otherwise that definitely could have been bad. Paul Weller's also jumped back to... Wow. Okay, Paul Weller may have had an issue before then. Paul Weller and Mauro Gabbiati. First. Oh, good. Is Weller going to come around the corner? Yes. And that would explain that better.
The race is compromised. Mark Raven spoke about his start earlier on. He's now 15th overall and he's sitting, I'm saying that he's 4th in class as we speak. However, in the lead of the AMs, that has to be Dan Roberts ahead of Johnny Wu and Nick Russell running out the top 3 in that class. So it all looks pretty much set for the finish really, unless we've got any close battles on circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go down first in class. He is Mr. Roberts leading the AMs here. Starfield's still got his fight. Hamlin's still coming back now. He's got basically in behind that is Marius Hibner, who made a mistake on lap 1 and never really got recovery. Here he's down, in fact Hibner's down 7 places to try and stay here. Now the interesting thing I'm going to have to go and keep an eye on is this. Mr. Nuttall has come right onto the back of Mr. Sharp here after Mr. Sharp's earlier incident, Tom. And now is this Kieran Sharp's opportunity, well, for one thing, to lose 3rd place. Or 2nd place, I should say, sorry.
Remember that Sharp is in a Ford, Knuckle is in a Corvette. And the Corvettes have been superior around this circuit. And Knuckle will want to make the most of that and get through on Sharp before the end. But it feels to me like the Ford does have that little extra straight line speed, which is helping Sharp stay in front.
Yeah, absolutely. That Ford has got some gruff behind it. The Corvette's not quite got the pace here. I think the Ford's going to be one of the highest top ends on this racetrack at the moment. Miller's alongside Southfield. Oh, he's still there. What does Hayden Miller have to do? Surely he's sick of staring at the back end of that Porsche.
Well, he's going for it there, but he's not going to do it into Coca-Cola. That would have been very, very ill-considered for him to overtake or attempt to overtake. So he slots back in behind Southfield for now. And he's got Liam Giles, who's still not in front of these, but he'll do what he did earlier and just stay in the tow. That's all he needs to do, is just stay in the tow. And the Pro-Am victory for today is his.
Yeah. He doesn't have to do anything else, Liam Giles. Just sit there and watch these guys either come together or watch Miller try and finally get this overtake done. The gap between Nuttall and Sharp has gone back out to 6 tenths. There's another Hibner Hamlin. They're following each other. Pike and Chandler seem to be doing the same thing here. Acton and Roberts. Again, Roberts doesn't really have to fight that one. He's leading the AMs. Johnny Wu and Bart Raven. Well, Johnny's got the job to do because he's the AM and Raven's the Pro AM. So we'll see how this one goes. You see the different lines through turn 16. The Porsche goes in quite tight. Corvette diamonds it off. Now he's running down here for Hayden Miller. Is this finally going to be his opportunity? Is Is this finally going to be the go that we all want from Hayden Miller? We all need from this man we're staring at right now. Can he get this done? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hold on to your hats. Here we go. We're going on the outside and we're going to send it in deep. We are. There's the Porsche. There's the Porsche. It's going to come across our nose. We've almost collected each other here. Now again, Miller, pick a side, sunshine. Round the outside he goes. Now trying it again. Now come back over him. You're going to carry more speed. You can see them still here with Miller. No, he just can't hold that position, Tom. He physically cannot hold that Corvette where he needs.
Well, as I can see inside, I thought he might just go for it, but Southfield covered it very, very well and holds his line, and he's given himself quite a buffer before they get to Dunlop.
Yeah, he definitely has, but now it's all about what Miller's going to be able to do again here. The gap in first, second to third has gone out to basically 1.3. That's settled back down again. Liam Giles in behind these again, not doing anything. You don't have to. You're leading the Pro-Ams, don't do nothing. Pike and Chandler, they were almost alongside. This is a Pro and a Pro-Am, and I think the Pro-Am is giving more of an account of himself. Opens the door up, Pike's going to take the inside line into 10. That's going to be Pike through an upper position. William Chandler down one. Southfield again. This has been a boxing match. Whoa, Liam Giles, where are you going? Don't do that, man. You are literally leading Pro-Ams by a country mile. You don't need to do anything. Southfield, straight on the defense once more here, Tom. And he's literally just doing the same thing over and over and over again.
He's weaving across the pit straight as well, James. I think that's against the rules, is it not? But yeah, you can just see he's changed direction at least 3 times to defend, which made that 4. That's definitely too many changes in direction, isn't it?
Well, we'll leave that up to the admins. Miller does go through, locks his brakes. Southfield comes back again. Nope, still can't make it. Hayden Miller once more. Still settling in behind him here. So I don't really know what he's got to do here. This is going to be 37, 8, 136. It's going to be 1 and 1 more. I think we might just top out on 35, 25 laps here, Tom. Hayden Miller should have 2 more goes for the show.
Well, he's got to surprise him. May not go for it straight away, but just surprise him at the last moment. Knock his momentum and then pull away. That's what I'd be thinking if I was Hayden Miller right now. So they come through Dunlop once more. He just wants to be on the gearbox, really. Maybe get in front, use the toe, move in front before they get to the corner and just cover the inside line and don't leave any space and do not allow Southfield the inside line for Coca-Cola.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't want to be doing that. And the problem is Southfield can, it's the Porsche, it's the final section, and we know the Porsche is good in the final sector. Miller just cannot get this run whatsoever here, and he's just not being able to get enough. Southfield are trying. Some will say he's trying to break the toe. Some will say he's weaving. I don't really know. We prefer one move, but some may say that's fine. Miller again on the outside again. He's got to basically just try. I would say try and lean on Southfield going into the corner. Maybe sort of lean on him a little bit to try and put him off. But Southfield just does the same thing again and again and again. And Miller is doing the same thing again and again and again.
Well, can he maybe send one to the inside? Oh, he's thinking about it. Southfield covers the line again before they go through 300R. And Giles does not need to do anything at this point. He may even try help Hayden Miller a little bit. He may want Giles to give him the bump job just to move in front of Southfield, but I don't know how much that is going to benefit Miller, in all honesty. The leaders are about to start the final lap of the race, but this has been the battle of the race, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been non-stop. If it wasn't Hamlin and Southfield, it's been Miller and Southfield, and Giles in behind that is literally practically this broadcast just covering needs free, because everybody else has been in and out, in and out, in and out, which bring you the incidents and the accidents. But of course the action has been in this main pack. This fight here again Miller's now only going to have one more lap to go. You have got one more to do something. Send it. Full send it. Has he got him off the inside? No. Southfield covers him off here. Giles, I don't know what you're doing, but it isn't the final. It's not the finish in time for you. There you go. Lean on him. Lean on him. You've got to disrupt him. And he hasn't done it again. And the same thing again. He's going to be... It's like banging your head against the wall and trying to hope that it's not going to hurt on one of the occasions, Tom.
Southfield changed direction 7 times, no less, on that straight alone. And Miller, I highly doubt, will be impressed with that, because how many changes of direction are you actually allowed to do?
Well, some may say he's breaking the draft. I don't know. For me, it should be one. One defense, that's it. Not 7 or 8, or however many it's looking like here. But Tom Davidson coming around the final corner here for him. He's going to take that win in the pros. Davidson wraps it up with Sharp in second, Nuttall in third. In behind that is still Southfield and Miller, but hey, Tom Davidson comes over the line. He's going to take that victory. Great job from him. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, Tom Davidson. Go enjoy it, son. Now what's happening here is still the same. We've still got the Porsche. We've still got the Corvette. It's a long run down. It's a long run down, Hayden. You might be able to get him. He might be able to get him. He's going to go down to the line. He's still got time. He's still got time. He didn't get him. Southfield still held on. Oh. What did Miller have to do, Tom, during that race as Liam Giles comes over and takes up the Pro-Am?
Yeah, showing it's 300ths of a second between the pair, but I imagine there'll be a few words with Southfield's driving standards there. I wouldn't be at all surprised, but like you say, we'll leave that for the admins to deal with. But of course, well done to William Chandler, bringing the car off his home, ending up second in the Pro-Ams, and today's AM winner is Dan Roberts. I think a few fans are tuning in to see him do well, and he's well and truly delivered for those who have been rooting for him. So very well done to Dan Roberts on winning the AMs this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite born. He's chugging over the line now. Stefan Mellis is in front of him. This has had a little bit of a rough one. BMW does look gorgeous. It's sleek and... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks almost very Mustang-esque of the GT3s there, so great job from these guys once again. Let's bring you up the race results. Bobby Moss, oops. Dude, you literally hit that wall hard, bro. You stay off them curbs. Tom Davidson is your winner. Kieran Sharp in second place and Jamie Nuttall in third. Jack Southfield finished in fourth with Hayden Miller in behind him. Liam Giles winning the Pro-Ams with Gwynlam Hamlin seventh. Marius Hibner eighth. Then Andrew Pike in ninth. William Chandler in 10th in the Pro-Ams, while Dan Roberts wins the AMs with Johnny Woo in behind that here as well. And on from there, Bart Raven, Matty Acton, Nick Russell, Matt Smith, Stephen Hutter and Wayne Nickel. Then coming in, we've got Gergely Gonzabo, Paul Smith, Stefan Mellis, Clive Bourne and Matt Gardner with Giovanni Cesaria, the last on the lead lap. Great to see we've got 24 on the lead lap. Lap down, Tedeschi, 2 laps, Gabbiadi, 5 laps, Roundtree, 7 laps, Bobby Moss after he hit the wall quite hard. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let's have a conversation with some of the guys that have taken part in this evening's race. We're going to start off with the man that finished currently in 9th place for Marius Hipmat there as well. How did he feel about the race? And can he tell us really what happened in that incident? Marius, welcome in, bud. How are you? Hey, dude, you good?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. Sorry, mate. You cut out on me. First off, how was the racing out there, mate?
Good. Even though I had a spin, I had a few incidents. I really enjoyed it out there. I was just found out, unfortunately, my brake bias. I found out halfway through the race was on 49.2 when I'm used to running 52.5. So I had multiple points throughout the race where I just locked up the rear tires and just spun around.
Yeah, you did as well. We've just seen one on the screen there, mate, as well. But, you know, it must, to be fair, you get a little bit angry with yourself when you make a mistake like that, right? But then, did you have fun trying to come back through the field?
Yeah, I did, and I was like, all right, well now I'm behind all this traffic, and I know I'm gonna be faster. So I saw on my track map that there was a big pocket of just clear air that I'd come out in if I pitted. So I decided to try something else and pit early, and then just try and run good pace and see where I end up. And I ended up having another spin, so that kind of went out the window. But yeah, it was still quite fun out there. Circuit I enjoy. So.
Well, good job there, fella. Nice recovery back through the field into ninth place. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yes, I'll give a shout out to my team, Classic Racing, and I'll also give a shout out to my sponsor, racinggood.com.
Okay, mate. Well, thanks so much, Marius. Look forward to seeing you hopefully next week.
Yep, of course.
Take care.
You too.
Next up, we're going to have a chat with Mr. Daniel Roberts, the winner of the AMS here this evening as well. Dan, welcome in, bud. How are you? Dan?
Honest to God, I never thought this would happen. The adrenaline is just spiked through the roof right now.
Dude, you've done a stunning job. 12th overall, up 6 places and win the AMS.
Man, the first 10 minutes were a bit chaotic, and I just thought, like, just get ahead in the game and just like drive your heart out and just get to the end. That's all that matters.
Absolutely. The BMW in the hands of some drivers looked a little bit wiggly, shall we say. How was it out there for you in your BMW?
I see some other drivers, yeah, you were right. They were a bit wiggly, but with mine, it was just like stuck to a T. And I had like no problems with it at all. It's just the tires were getting a bit down and it still kept on going, which I'm happy about it.
Well, Dan, to be fair, mate, as long as at the end of the day you're happy about the way the car was driving, pulled out some good points on Cardulo. What do we think, Dan? Where are you going to be in and around this season ending with 3 more races to go?
Just bringing in some more points and just trying to stay in everyone's way.
Well, you don't need to stay out their way, mate. You just went and won. They need to get out of yours.
Yeah, it's just fantastic to have this car. It's just been fantastic.
Well done, fella. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I just want to shout out to my team, Motor City Racing, and to my sponsor, Poggers, and to my one friend who's on the chat, Stephen Pye. Thank you very much for being there for me. To the others like Mark, Whiteleg, Joe Grumble, everyone else. Yeah, thank you.
All right, man. Well done, Dan. Congratulations, buddy, and look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next time.
Take care. Right, next up, lastly, is the man that has stared at the back end of a Porsche more throughout this race than he cares to imagine. Will it be sweet dreams for Hayden Miller this evening, or is he going to have Porsche nightmares? Well, let's find out. Hayden, welcome in, bud. Are you sick of sight at the rear end of the Porsche yet?
Trying to get past him, yeah, but to be honest, he's Jack always being fast. I was surprised at his pace this weekend or today, but some of the battles we had with him were really good, but there was some moves where I wasn't too keen on. Also wasn't happy with sometimes coming into the first corner or down the straight or stuff like that. Some of them I thought were just over a bit aggressive, bit too much. But at the end of the day, he never locked up, outbraked himself, went straight into someone. Yeah, it was good racing, but some of the toughest racing I've ever had in TSRC.
Yeah, dude, you did well. We did count at one point, mate. Tom actually counted. He moved 7 times on the straight from turn 16
that as
down to
well.
1.
I got that as well, and in the driver's briefing it said 1 or 2, and from every lap I was behind him, I seen him weaving, I know, between 4 to 8 times a lap
Yeah.
down the straight.
Well, as I said, I'd love to give my opinion, but you know, I do end up getting myself in trouble, Hayden. So I'm going to refrain out that one. I'll leave that in your capable hands, and I'm sure the stewards will have a look at it there as well, bud. But listen, dude, you know, frustrating, 5th overall, not bad in consideration. But you've also got to look at your own driving, haven't you, and think, actually, do you know what? I drove blinking well there. I didn't go past him, but I didn't make many mistakes either. I drove well.
Yeah, it was. I was actually quite pleased with myself. Yeah, kind of a running theme here of not a lot of practice, probably about 5 laps in total before this practice session, before the event came underway. But I was, for some reason, I had the braking on point to where I would hit the brakes and you could feel it on the rear end juttering, as in it would just lock up, then not lock up over and over again. So I was on the limit of locking the rear end almost every single corner. So I had really good brake control. I was surprised at my pace, but yeah, I think although the battle was fun with Jack, I think it held me up quite a lot. I reckon I would have been with Jamie, maybe Kieran. So, but yeah, that's life. That's how the race unfolds. It was fun.
Yeah, well, good job there, fella. Well done anyway. Congratulations. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, just everyone in general for getting the league running. Broadcasters used to. Some of the drivers that I've been chatting to during racing. Uh, the drivers in general. Just props to everybody.
Yeah, awesome job there, mate. Well, congratulations anyway, Hayden, on a great night of driving, and I look forward to seeing how you get on next week.
Thank you. See you.
Take care. Bye. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to bring it up to the end here as well. Tom, Marius Sidmer seemed to enjoy himself. Dan Roberts over the moon. Hayden Miller, 50-50.
Can understand why he may feel a little bit bemused, to be honest with you. But to be fair, if I was in the same seat as where he was sitting in when he was racing, I'd have felt the same. So we'll leave that for the stewards to decide on that one. But overall, it's been some good action involving these GTs, and I'm looking forward to more of it in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Tom Cairns. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.